Okay. Inge,
Hey,
hello.
hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. I was sick a little. Now I'm
Mhm.
back alive.
Excuses, but okay. Is the sickness completely gone?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right,
You know,
nice.
sometimes I wonder if this was like 100 years ago, would I die?
Mm,
Now, I
hmm,
say it's a common cold because I had like a common cold situation going on. So I had to take like some whatever, Tylenol, whatever.
mm-hmm.
And then it wasn't that bad. It passed. But if this was like 100 years ago, did I stand a chance
I
or
mean, I think we are like, I don't know, depends on the past and location. Like the thing is, you are living smushed, as they say, cheek to jowl with 20 million people in Istanbul, right? So,
true?
this would not happen 100 years ago. So the vectors of attack would be so much fewer.
Hmm,
Um, yeah. I also think
true.
like the average person's immune system might have been a lot stronger. They always eat organic food, basically. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it depends. It depends. So, Inja, before we start, I was inspired to,
Oh my God.
no, this is
This
important.
this never ends well.
Yes, being inspired, yes.
Is it because you're not a normal person who's inspired by like art or beauty to draw something or whatever? Anyways, let's hear this.
Okay. So I was inspired by the people up north in the Canadians, who before they
Interesting.
start something important like a demet, yani a speech, before they
Hmm.
start it, they start with. Do you know what they start with? This is a new thing.
No.
Oh, they start with the land acknowledgement. Okay. They
Oh,
say
oh, this was like okay, I know what this is. They're like this piece of soil used to belong to this
belong.
person, that person.
Exactly, to this like random tribe that never invented the wheel, but like we have to thank them because we like brought civilization.
Okay, you know what? You know what? This would only work in Canada and America.
Yeah,
Because if we
yeah, you
did a
think
land acknowledgement in like in my house, we have like a 100,000 year history to go through.
that's true. That's true. So like,
Canadians
yeah,
are like this one specific tribe of Indians, and that's it. And my grandfather bought it.
yeah, like you tried to do land acknowledgement on a patch of land in Anatolia, and like now,
E-
everyone on Earth has a claim to that land at some point.
Exactly, exactly.
That's true.
Let's
Yes.
see you do
So.
that, Jan. If you truly want to be sensitive, I hate it. Okay. I hate it when Americans and Canadians too, let's mush them together. When
Mm-hmm.
something is easy, they want to be sensitive.
Mm.
They only do this because it's like one tribe. They would never do this if it was like three or more tribes owned, like had claim on a specific land. Three is
Mm.
their limit. You'll see. You'll see. Search the speeches, do your research. You will see three is their limit.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. So maybe they're like asking uh also they see like the Indians or whatever there was before them there as a monolith. So they're asking like, you guys duke it out among yourselves. Tell us which one we should acknowledge, and that's the one we'll acknowledge. So they're almost like outsourcing the violence and the claim.
Okay, so
But
I would like to thank the construction company who built our house.
amazing.
Um,
I thought we could like thank the plumbers, we
yes,
stand on
that's
the
true.
shoulders of plumbers. The
True,
fact
that's
that
true.
you and I can like Zoom each other today is in no small part because of the thousands of
Exactly.
plumbers that have maintained civilization
It's
until
true.
we could
You're
get Zoom.
laughing, and people think it's a joke. It's not. Just, listen to the first episode we did. I'm very serious about this. Yes, let's thank the plumbers. Exactly. That's so true.
Yes, we stand on the shoulders of plumbers. We salute plumbers. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Present, historical, and future. Always.
True.
All right.
And we have a fun plumbing fact coming up in the middle.
Ooh, check back in after our first segment. So, in the similar style to our first segment, we have a topic today, and we have two things each. So our topic is heroes and anti-heroes. So hero is a person for each of us. So it's for two heroes and two anti-heroes between us. And we want to, for our heroes, highlight someone that we admire and want to be more like. And for our anti-heroes, it's not quite the same way as they say in movies, but for our anti-heroes, the people that like we never ever want to be like, you know. It could have also been called like cringe people. Like, yeah.
Exactly. Because you can't really say villain, because villain has a purpose, you know? Villain
Exactly.
has a
yeah. All right. So Angie, would you like to start with the heroes or anti-heroes?
Yep. Let's start with heroes.
All right. Go ahead. Introduce me to your hero.
Okay. So I thought a lot about this because I technically don't really have a hero. There isn't anyone whom I look at and say, wow. You know, like even the best person, even the richest or prettiest or whatever-ist person, I'm like, yeah, fine, good for you.
I feel that.
You know how they say, oh, this is what billionaires do. They wake up at 5 a.m. and I'm like, immediately, no, thank you.
No thanks. Snooze. Nope, don't want that. If that's what's gonna take to have billions, nope. I like to have my sleep. Yes, I feel you.
So hero in that sense, I don't really have a aspirational person I look up to. But, and I was really struggling with this.
Me too. I'm so surprised. Like, yeah, I was struggling with the hero too. Anti-hero, I knew immediately, but hero, difficult.
So I was on YouTube and watching stuff, and someone popped up, someone I follow, and I was like, you know, if I have to pick someone I want to be like, this is who I want to be like.
Like, this is crazy because we haven't talked up to now, but my thing also is a YouTuber and a random little YouTuber. Yes. Okay,
that's wow.
Yes.
Okay, we're a little more alike than I'd like, but anyways,
it'll make you question your life, right? Like, why am I so similar to Jazz?
I'm just gonna be like, oh, Malala is my hero. She fights for girls and stuff. Okay, I'm changing it right now. Oh my!
On the fly, yeah.
She got shot once, and we have to hear about it every single day. Like,
yes, we have to do a land acknowledgement for. We stand on the shoulders of Malala, who suffered for humanity.
It was impressive for a year. It was like, wow, for a year. And now why? Okay, she was at the Oscars. Like, why?
Yeah.
Anyways. So my hero is this woman. Her name is Anna. She has this channel called School of Affluence. And she basically teaches women how to be, you know, like elegant, and she has great shoes and great clothes. This is her job. Her job is to be like, this is how you can look prettier. This is how to eat stuff, whatever. And she has a rich husband, and she lives in Geneva. She has great friends, super cute dog. Nothing political, you know. She's not like billionaire Elon Musk kind of person. She's not a poor person. She technically has a career, but it's not really a career in a way that, you know, our moms worked in offices and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's the person I want to be. Her job is to like tell women what to do, but not in a bad, in a way that it's like, oh, these heels will look better than those heels, and she makes money off of this.
I see. So you're saying like one criticism I think men in general levy at women is that they're more vain. You know, they take a million selfies and stuff, or like all they care about is handbags. And let me tell you something, like handbag YouTube is another dimension. Like when I first encountered it, I never like growing up ever thought of bags. I don't even think I knew what luxury bags were and why they even existed, luxury brands. And then like in my 30s, I stumble upon essentially luxury bag YouTube, and the amount of like collective mental energy that has been given to by women to like reviewing Chanel bags and like, oh, there's a pocket here and like it zips close. I just like, the men have a point, but I think you're saying like this Anna person, she leans into it, fully embraces it.
Exactly. And then well, okay, I love her because she once said there was this criticism. She was doing a video of like, oh, women, shouldn't talk loudly in public. Not just women, but like she was giving, I don't know, 10 rules of looking classy or something like that. It was like that. But obviously she's a woman, so mostly women watch it. Anyways. And then she was like, oh, don't talk loudly in public. Always greet with a handshake and a smile, whatever, like super basic stuff like that.
Etiquette.
And then exactly. And then some woman was like, oh, women already face enough challenges as is. We don't need to implement more rules, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, and this made a lot of sense to me. Men never disagree. Like men never reject another man telling them how to be better. They eat it up. They never pass out on a chance to like up themselves in the society or like be better, look better, whatever. It's because they're stupid. They can't do it. Most of them can't do it. And our next topic should be, are men stupid or smart? I think it could be a good debate versus women, because it's a lot to talk about. Anyways, I'm not very articulate today. I don't know why. But basically she was like, oh, women never really have these resources of like how to present yourself as a better person, even though you might not have a lot of money, or even not a lot of education. But like, yes, think about it. If someone is at a restaurant and they're, behaving properly, you immediately think better of them, or like if they're wearing nicer clothes or whatever. So she was like, why are you so against this? Why are you so against women leveling up, in her words? And I was like, yes, exactly.
True words.
And it's always women who like reject a woman who's trying to teach them how to be better. And in the handbag thing too, like a rich man would never care about a woman spending money on a handbag. It's always like the poor it's always the poor man who could never buy an expensive handbag who hates vain women.
Yeah. I think I agree with you. So there's a lot of sort of like, I think by Anna saying to women, like, this is how you can be better, she's like not intentionally, but almost like by definition, saying one kind of behavior is superior to another. And the ones behaving in that kind of worse way feel being called out. And that, they're just instinctively reacting to that. I think I also think with women, like something we're not taught, and I don't know how long it's been like this. I feel like there was a time, maybe not that long ago, maybe like less than 100 years ago, that women used to be taught ways to behave in a charming sort of way. And I feel like we've lost that to the degree that like we, like women, I think, need to be charming, and that's how they get much of their in-person strength. Like they're always admired for their grace, they're admired for soft-spoken, and all of this is not them being a pushover. Like all these things can coexist with like a woman that knows what she wants and knows how to get it. But this idea of like being graceful needs to be reinvigorated in society. So I definitely understand why you picked Anna in that respect.
I 100% agree with you. It was so refreshing to see a woman who wasn't like, do whatever you want, be whoever you want to be, because that's like, come on, that's cheap advice. But when you have someone who gives you actual advice, like, oh, sit this way, eat that way, talk this way. And
Mm-hmm.
it's very useful. It's immediately recognizable when someone's been taught, because it's always like the rich old money families who are taught these things from the
Mm-hmm.
get-go. So when someone else knows them, it's like you're basically leveling up in society, or like even in the workplace, it's very noticeable who's the graceful one. So yes, I picked her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I had a thought, but oh, I was gonna say, so I've come to think that anyone that you encounter that tells you, like if you have some obvious flaws, and I think being ungraceful, loud, not charming is really bad for a woman. And
Mm-hmm.
anyone that approaches a woman like that and says, you are great, good the way you are. I accept you the way you are. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to change. Anyone who says that does not have the interest of the woman at heart. Like
Exactly.
they're either at best completely apathetical, apathetic to her existence, or they they might say, and I'm not saying this is super conscious, but I think subconsciously what they see a woman like that, and they see someone that is not a threat to them, that is not a competition to them. They allow these women to make mistakes that they themselves would never make, strive not to make, but they try to affirm the other women, generally coming from other women. Like I think men are pretty good at um complaining, even if just to other men, how like loud and awful and nagging and terrible some woman is. But like women will not do that among each other. They will actually embrace them as friends, maybe embrace them into their circle, but simply as a contrast to themselves, which is
Mm-hmm.
like a very insidious way of being an enemy.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
true. Anyway, so for all women, I think just go go to her channel. It's great. It's so many stuff I'd never considered before, and I can safely say it has like really leveled up my life, her content, and
Nice.
it's free.
Nice. I
Yeah.
love it. All right. Um, so my uh hero.
I'm really scared. Is it gonna be someone weird?
No, no, no. We already
Okay.
eliminated the a certain group of mid-century Germans from the from the consideration because we wanted the first 4 episodes monetized, right? So
She
now,
means Einstein.
yes, yes, that's what I mean. So unfortunately, it could not have been the physicists. Um, So since we took them off consideration, I went soul searching. But I knew there's a particular trait that I admire in people, and that manifests in various different people. So I just picked a YouTuber that I most recently encountered that had this trait. And the trait I'm talking about is, for no particular utilitarian purpose, doing something and setting the bar so high, like doing it so excellently for no reason. Like you're not going to get more money. There's no boss beating down you, forcing you to do things certain way. Just like intrinsically making something as best and beautiful and amazing as you can. So this
Hmm.
particular YouTuber that I'm going to mention is her name is Liz, and her YouTube channel username is called Camping Guidance. Camping Guidance, like 2 words. So she reviews like marshmallow roasting sticks and tents and like towels that people might use for hiking. So just like it's basically reviewing various things you might need while camping, right? But she does such an excellent job at it, where like for example, the towels that she has, she compared like 9 different towels you might want to take while you're hiking, right? Because if you want to like swim somewhere, you have to dry yourself off. So it's those kind of, but they have to be light, etc. So they're different from like the cotton towels we use at home. And she tested them like, I don't know, like the way NASA tests their rovers before sending them to Mars. Like first of all, it was a 5-month test with like 9 different towels.
Wow.
And she tested like how much they bleed color across different wash cycles and like how much they lose weight across 5 months of a certain standard usage, because like that means that the fibers are flaking off. So like it's like, well, we started with 151 grams and at the end of 5 months it was 149 grams. And like she actually tested it. She put them
Wow.
to
I had
test
never
how...
considered that was a possibility, that the towel is lighter. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
wowed. I'm
yeah.
impressed.
And she like dried them and then put them in plastic bags that she sealed up for 4 days just to test. These towels are supposed to have like anti-fungal, antibacterial properties. So she like ranks the smell of the towels after 4 days of being damp and enclosed. And it was just like she went, and the videos are, the production value of the videos are so high. Like their ratings for each, their spreadsheets, there's like when she's talking about something, it's she's immediately showing this from a point of view perspective and like putting arrows and stuff to the things she's pointing. Like it's just incredibly high for what, like you know, like you could have done a review even strictly speaking, just if you wanted to point a couple of things out, you could have done that in such a less glamorous way, but she's done it all. So I am so personally inspired by seeing someone go all out, like make something fully excellent. And I love that.
So just to recap, I picked someone who teaches women how to enter high society and be elegant, and you picked someone who shits on the ground for a hobby.
Can we please what is this aggression that I'm sensing from you? I picked someone who's excellent, who did something, you know. I feel like not everything is about plumbing into, like there is value in people that are...
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I was really impressed. Like I'm impressed about the towel thing. Doing it for camping really takes away a lot of points from her in my eyes. I was just recapping for the audience, you know, who picked who, the kind of people we are.
Oh my God. Yeah, I can see from your perspective that like it might sound, I don't know, like making the greatest dish, like cooking the greatest dish and then like feeding it to dogs or something, like, you know, kind of it gets lost. The punch factor gets lost from your perspective. I can tell.
There's another YouTuber I was gonna pick. The username I think is Nile Red or something like this.
Oh, I like him. Yes.
You know Nile Red, right?
Yes.
Okay. He has a biochemistry degree, and the best thing you can do with a biochemistry degree is what he's doing. Like turning what did he do? Hold on. I'm gonna find. He had such amazing stuff.
Yeah, at one point he
turning plastic gloves into hot sauce. Exactly.
Yes, yes.
Making transparent wood. Yes, exactly. Do that. Don't try to solve climate change or whatever. Do this. Use your degrees for stuff like this.
I agree. Like I think he so for our audience, like what he's doing, he has, as you said, a biochemistry degree, and he started in his parents' garage, just like mixing this or that together and kind of filming the output of the reactions, and consistently made it more and more complicated, and eventually like built out a whole lab for himself just to experiment on various molecules and track the process. And he's another, for me, person who like sets the bar. Like as far as I know, nothing like that had been done in this sort of way, and it's so much fun. And I think like fun should be particularly for male endeavors, I think an important part of the process. Like I'm so sick of the like stifling, suffocating seriousness of it all. Like, oh, like the reason you have to do something like start a company or whatever is because you need to save the climate. You need to save Earth. I'm like, you know what? Like, do it for fun. That's so much
Exactly.
better.
I agree. When you mentioned what's her name? Liz,
Yep, Liz.
the camping, immediately thought of this person. Like someone doing something so amazing, so out there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yes. Everyone should be like Nile Red. Because sometimes people are like, "Oh, I'm working on a cancer project and I'm trying to fix blah blah
Snooze.
blah that will in 50 years maybe help someone live 1 year longer." I'm like, "Oh, just make transparent wood like Nile Red."
Yeah, I agree.
Let me die of cancer peacefully while I'm watching Nile Red videos.
Exactly. Thank you. Like I want 1,000 more Nile Reds and like 1,000 less people that are trying to elongate my last painful year on Earth. Like, can I just die in peace without any intervention?
Exactly.
Like when my heart stops, I don't want to be revived. That's good. Like there's a timeout. It's called timeout.
When they say, oh, in the news, they're like, oh, he almost died, but they did like a 3-hour heart, what is it called? CPR. They did it for 3 hours. And I'm like, you should have given up after like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. Like there's a one thing that I if you ever want to see a shocking image, Google. Do you know the guy named George Soros?
Oh, this sounds very familiar, but I'm not sure.
So he's like a 90-something-year-old guy who, like, I don't know how he's alive, okay, but he's like constantly involved in politics and sponsoring various, candidates
yes.
over
Okay,
others.
media stuff. Okay, yes. I remember him. Yes, okay, I
International
remember him.
NGO stuff. And I'm just like, dude, like, why can't you, look at the sunset and like leave the stuff to other people, younger people? They can be even your sons and daughters or whatever. But why are you like still trying to make stuff happen at the age of 90, probably getting like God knows what, like I don't know, infusing the blood of young people every night just to stay alive 2 minutes longer? Like, enough. This is so unseemly.
You've made the money, eat the good food, bed the beautiful women, and
Be
die.
at peace. Yeah, like be at peace and live in peace. Like this, I'm just trying to think like how much medical innovation is going to keeping this man like running longer and longer, and how much, like, I don't know, the army of like secretaries or whatever that are managing his schedule and making sure he remembers this and that. And this is too much. Like all those people should be making YouTube channels with fun stuff, but instead those doctors are spending their time keeping a 90-year-old man in politics. Like this is so absurd.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, Angie, before Zoom shuts us off, why don't you tell us the plumbing fact of the day before we go to Antiheroes?
Okay. So the flushing toilet actually was invented way before. We always think of it as a new invention, but actually, in 1592, a very, very beloved man named Sir John Harington invented something of basically a flushing toilet system, like a very rudimentary version for himself and his godmother. Sadly, because humans are stupid, his invention was ignored for like a couple hundred years. But, humanity changed that day. And to John Harington and his descendants, I want to say, you carry some good blood in you.
Yeah.
Do not let that go to waste. Exactly. Honor that blood.
Did you say he's a sir, so he's knighted?
Yeah, I think he's like he's royal, I think, like
Mm.
to some degree.
You know, like, can I just say this unintentionally made my blood boil for a second there, because look at the kinds of uh, look at what the nobility of the past, even like a minor nobility or whatever, did with their resources. They invented the flushing
Exactly.
toilets. Okay, what are our stupid ass elites doing? What are they doing? They have more money than any of those people combined. What the fuck are they doing? Like, I am so upset. The other day, I was thinking about the sort of ancient um, castes of people. Like, there are four archetypes. There's peasants at the bottom, and then there are merchants. There are priests and warriors. Okay, this is like the sort of ancient understanding of a society. And I was thinking, like, uh, the like peasants of the past, like what they had versus like what peasants of today have. And you might say, like, the work, I'm not sure if they work more or less, but one thing I know is that peasants of the past had so much more beauty in their lives, like so much more. You look everywhere and like beautiful noblemen, beautiful clothes, beautiful buildings. And this is a huge
Mm-hmm.
way in which the nobility has failed, or the elites have failed the peasants of today.
Yes, you're right. Like the buildings used to be so beautiful, and now I'm thinking, even for like religious buildings, if I want to, let's say I see like a new mosque or a new church, and I'm like, no, thank you. I'm not going to believe in God because
Mm,
this is I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in here. It's always like the super old mosques and churches or whatever religious building you're trying to convince me of. You
yeah,
go in and you're like, oh, wow, wow, I feel so spiritual in here. And now it's like even for churches, it's look at like all the churches the French, even the French, the stupid godless French built. And now it's
that's
like
so true.
a couple chairs, and someone's like, there's the stupid priest who's like, oh, everyone is welcome here. Like nobody wants to come. It's the point isn't you're welcoming everyone. The point is this
Yeah,
is an ugly ass basement. Nobody wants to come here. Anyways.
exactly, exactly. Like the
So yeah, so go ahead, go ahead.
no, like the levels of um primarily like visual, I think, beauty and awe we have been denied, is astounding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank God some of the buildings are still standing. But I don't know, maybe 1,000 years later. We'll
Dude,
see.
this is another crazy thing. Like, the lifespan of the buildings we build today is like 30, 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Much less if you're building in Turkey, but we're not gonna get
Oh
into
my
that.
God, yes.
Yeah, that's like, those are not buildings. That's like, thick paper, we can call them. Um, but like, it's so incredible. I someone said, and I fully agree with this. They said our approach to history, modern approach to history, is wrong, because like we're trying to pick apart historical figures and seeing if we agree with them or not. But we should really use, he said, history as a way to judge the present. Like, and when you kind of take that flipped perspective, the correct perspective, in my opinion, you have to like look at something like the uh, cathedral in Cologne, and you just have to tell yourself, like, as advanced we think we are, we could not make that kind of stuff happen today, and they didn't have power tools back then, right? This is
Mm-hmm.
like with all the advances of quote unquote civilization, like nothing like that could be made today. And you realize, like, there's a lot of decline. But we went into this direction from the original, much more kind of inspiring point, which was
Yes.
what was it,
John Harington.
Sir John Harington. we,
Mm-hmm.
we should like find his descendants and send thank you letters. Did
I
you
just want to
know?
say, I think I'm definitely inclined to name my firstborn son John. Um,
John Harington,
I really cannot imagine anyone who has helped. Like in my everyday life, there are a couple things I have to use. And it's not my phone. I can live without my phone. It's not my clothes. It's not, even though I love all of them,
Mm-hmm.
the thing that really, really is close and dear to my heart is butter, and flushing bathrooms,
Yes.
and the fact
Yeah.
that the water warms up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And that's it.
The like, can you also imagine being like Sir John Harington and having invented like stroke of genius, you know, the gods have given you this gift, which is the invention of the flushing toilet. But then like the idiots around you don't understand like how genius it is. It's almost like a mathematical kind of genius who's like making formulas that the idiots around him can't understand. So it's like this thing has to be buried until
And
it's rediscovered.
this is what we had to go through to like have flushing toilets in our apartments today. Like John Harington invented it. It was ignored. There was like a huge problem with whatever sicknesses poops carry, typhoid, and what was the other one, like cholera, whatever. And today you have camping people. They want to take
Can I please like
they want to take us back to the dark ages, and I for one will not allow this. I will carry the spirit of Sir John Harington with me, and we will not cease the use of flushing toilets, okay? Yeah,
yes.
thank you.
Inge, I feel like this, you know, like the camping people are just you know, someone needs to stand up for them, but I'm really afraid of the amount of anger and kind of pent up energy in your voice. So I will not be the one speaking up for camping people. All right.
If there's a camping person who happens to listen to this, because you know they have nothing else to do in the middle of the woods, come on, let's debate. Let's, you know, I don't want physical violence. I just want to talk. Let's see you defend yourself and the horrible life you lead, you know?
Yes. That's I'm sure that very welcoming invitation will be taken up by our camping audience. But yeah, to our camping audience, you know, if you want to defend your life, defend your way of life, please come on. Okay, so for our next segment, we have the much more fun, I think, Antiheroes. Do you want to go and introduce me to your antihero?
Yes, it's not one person, it's a group of people. It's a profession.
Okay.
And it's not prostitution.
I was scared for a second when you said it's a group of people, you know, that can lead to certain directions that we said we're not going to go to until episode 5 in June.
No. Okay. Lucky for me, yes, it's a profession. I just want to say, I'm not racist because I pretty much hate all the races.
There's not one redeeming one.
Even like the first episode, I was saying how I don't think gay couples should be able to adopt. And I was thinking back on it and I was like, oh, am I homophobic? Is it like specific to gay people? And I was like, no, I just don't want people to get what they want, you know? The hate is
like
general.
a much bigger, yeah. This is a much bigger crusade for you than any one random group of people. That's too small stakes for you.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay, my group of people I hate, and this is
drum roll.
Most people in that group, not all, because like it's impossible to have every single person in a profession be bad, but like most people. It's not prostitution, it's not politics. My hated group of profession is teachers. Exactly.
Oh, we can talk about teachers. I love you went hard for it. You went hard for it. The teachers are um uh maybe we'll discuss in a second, but possibly undeservedly so um held high in society. Yes. Please tell me why you hate teachers or why they're your anti-hero.
Okay. Most teachers are horrible at teaching.
100%. Yep.
Teachers took away my love of learning. I used to love the sciences. I used to love math. Well, I still love math because I went on YouTube and, listened to people who weren't teachers and they taught me stuff I want to know about. Anyways,
Mhm.
teachers believe that they're special because they're teachers, like they deserve some sort of
Oh God.
respect, that they're doing like a sacred job, that they're like, oh, they're sacrificing so much for their students or whatever. And I went to some really good schools. I went to private school. I went to like some degrees of private school, from super fancy to a little fancy. I went to public school. It's all the teachers. I had like maybe 2-3 teachers whom I really liked and respected.
Mhm.
But the rest were like torturers. I
by
hated
by
them.
far the super minority, like the good ones, they stick out because they're so rare across
Yes,
like
true.
hundreds of teachers you came across over your lifetime.
Yep.
Yeah.
They just these horrible teachers, all they cared about was like the little politics of the school, and you could see how little the end game was. Like, it's like, oh, I get to teach this class instead of you. um it's such like small world, small minded stuff. uh and like they would take away your love of learning so quickly because you look up to them when you're a kid. You don't know
Yeah.
that they're horrible, terrible people. They give you all the worst advice under the guise of knowing best.
Oh God,
um
100%.
right. Never listen to your teachers. They don't know shit. If they knew shit, they wouldn't be teachers.
Exactly. Like there's an old expression, those who can do, those who can't teach, you know. And it's a funny expression, but it almost to me doesn't even get to the main crux of it, because you can say like the people that are at the top of a certain um, certain competence, like for example the ones that are great at math maybe should be mathematicians, like they shouldn't be teaching math so much as like making new formulas or whatever. And so it's fine to like have teachers be the less skilled version of the ones that are practicing the math, let's say. But what is completely inexcusable, in my opinion, is that the teachers are uh, have zero enthusiasm or appreciation for the subject that they're teaching. Like it's purely a means to an end for them, and the end that they really want is like control, to hear themselves talk, to have benefits, to get a good wage, to get a parking spot, like whatever it is. It is not it's the subject that they're teaching. Like they would almost be much happier if they didn't even have to teach, like if they could just like browse Facebook during class time. And they hate the fact that they have to be present enough long enough to even teach.
Exactly. I hate it when you're like, oh, teachers get summers off, and it's a huge thing. Like nobody but the students get summers off, okay? But for
Mm-hmm.
some reason, teachers are like they hate this, that they hate that we can use this against them. They're like,
Yeah.
oh no, we spend the summers preparing the class
Oh my
curriculums.
God.
You've been a math teacher for 20 years. The curriculum hasn't changed. It's geometry, and that's it. Like, how much geometry has changed in the last 20 years? You've had to prepare curriculums. You get the summer
Exactly.
off. You have an easy job. Just say, yes, I have an easy job, and shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, and I'm just gonna be like, ma'am or sir, like intro to geometry has not changed since Babylonian times. Okay, like don't
Yep.
pretend like this is some Arctic exploration you're doing by like gathering together a couple of class notes, for sure. Yeah,
You know, pi was invented. That was a big deal. Like that year, geometry teachers had a rough year.
they had to
One,
update their schedules. Yes,
exactly. Newton did some stuff with like calculus and whatever. That was the second like time where math teachers had to work and learn stuff. And that's it. Ever since Newton, nothing happened.
exactly. So certainly like not at the elementary level, high school level.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say teachers, I basically mean elementary and high school because college teachers are a whole other pile of shit that
But
what
it is also a pile of shit, but it's like a different pile of shit.
yeah,
Yes, we're
exactly.
talking.
So when I say teachers, it's like elementary slash high school.
Yeah, yeah,
Ugh, I
yeah.
hate teachers.
Same. Like I
They
think
shouldn't get a day.
they shouldn't get anything. They shouldn't even get paid. Right?
And they think they okay, it's a really big thing here where basically every group is trying to get a higher pay, like government workers trying to get a higher pay on the basis of that they deserve it because the job is difficult. Doctors did it first, which made a little bit of sense because they had to work a little bit more during COVID, blah blah blah. And then it was like the miners, which okay, fine, you go underground. That also made some sense, like because it's physically difficult and nobody else wants to do it but like a handful of men. But what's your excuse, teachers?
Yes.
Why should we pay you anything more than like a little higher than minimum wage, which you should be thankful for?
Yeah.
You do nothing. You do nothing. If you did anything, people would pay you more, which some people do in some private schools where the teachers are better. They do get paid more. But anyways, I'm sorry.
But
Some of my teachers, I want to say, if you listen to this, some of you, like 3 of you, I'm excluding.
yes.
But all the
Don't
rest of you die,
burn in hell. Yeah.
burn in hell.
I tend to think so. This is a difficult one for me because while I wholeheartedly agree that majority of teachers suck, I also tend to think like it's sort of like Chernobyl disaster, right? Like at the point that you get the Chernobyl disaster, you can ask yourself like, who was wrong? Who was at fault? You know, and you can say, oh, it's like the guy that ignored the couple of warning lights or whatever there was, or it was a bad engineer. But you could also say like, there's a full history behind it of ignoring and even firing a lot of scientists that said that site is insecure. There's also like a kind of like civilizational decay going on for decades before this sort of thing happens in the USSR, right? So similarly with like teachers, without sorry, absolving their horribleness, okay, complete and utter horrible, without absolving that, I have to look at like, you're cramming people, everyone, like in Turkey, for example, it's mandatory, and in many other places as well, you have to attain quote unquote education to a certain degree. You have to cram these people and segregate them by age, but by nothing else. Like basically, you have to cram them into classrooms. You have one person up front that is like by the time you reach the point where like the teacher's individuality can make a difference, they have to teach like set stuff, and they have to, it's always like very standardized. Like there's one kind of homework that is graded in a certain way and everyone has to do that. Like there's no opportunity for a teacher of a budding Nile Red, for example, to say, you know what, like I can sense that you understand this stuff. Why don't you make like an awesome experiment? And the other kids that don't care about chemistry, they have to like draw, you know, carbon atoms or whatever. Like, yeah, what do you think about that? Like, how much do you think is it on the teacher versus this horrible system?
I agree. I agree. But I've seen teachers who, basically are horrible even when the system allows for a little bit more creativity.
Mm, yeah.
Absolutely right. Like it's 30 people in a classroom. There's like this stupid curriculum of like teaching super unnecessary stuff. I get it. Teachers are tired too. Not every kid is the same. But like from my personal experience, even when the classroom allowed, because I went to a lot of private schools, there
Mm-hmm.
wasn't that many kids. Everyone's rich, everyone's happy, a lot of resources. Even then, even when like because private schools love that kind of, oh, we're so creative here kind of rhetoric, even
Mm,
then, some teachers would be absolutely horrible.
yeah. I agree with you. That's a great point, actually. Like, we're not talking, you and I have gotten to pretty great schools actually in our past. So, you know, while I also think like the plight of teachers in under quote unquote under resourced communities and stuff is also vastly exaggerated. That's not even our concern. Our thing is like, you had everything, you have an easy job, you have relatively well behaved students, and you still
Mm-hmm.
like smother their love of learning. This is truly like the equivalent of um like when a kid, oh, like a small kid asks questions to their parent, the parent shuts them down to the point that the kid stops talking or something. That's like
Mm-hmm.
the equivalent of what we're experiencing in so many schools.
Exactly, exactly. And they were like, they try to get the student to behave or like teach them a lesson. Shut up, you're not my mom. Just
Oh yeah,
you can't even teach me 2 plus 2. What makes you think you can teach me how to behave?
yeah.
I remember this one teacher who, I think it was in 6th grade when I was going through, what was I going through? It was like some difficult stuff, but I don't remember exactly why. I was, maybe we were moving. I don't know. Like, let's say I was going through something difficult, okay? And I was acting out for the first time, like perfect record student, but then
Mm-hmm.
acting out for the first time in her life. This was a math class. I was basically a math rock star, okay? I could
Mm-hmm.
have been working my way through the class and I would still get an A plus. Like, so,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, first time acting out. Obviously, something is going on in home or whatever. Like, something is obviously wrong with this 12-year-old. And I don't remember why, but I pretended I forgot my math book at home, even though it was in my bag.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was just saying, like, oh, it's not in my bag. And the teacher was like, no, 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 it's with you. And I was like, no, I left it at home. This went on for like 5 minutes.
Oh my
And
god.
he made me take off like empty my bag, took the book and then showed everyone.
Oh my
Bro,
god.
and like I will be calling your parents about this.
Oh my
And
god.
I was obviously I don't remember why I lied. I honestly don't. It's a stupid, but like I said, I'm 12. Obviously, I'm going through something. Just let me not take out the book, man. Just let me, I know this stuff. Like, I know the math. These stupid private school kids, I understood everything before they did. Just let me sit that one out. Like, just let me do my thing for just like 40 minutes, one class. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to assert your power over me.
Yeah.
And the idiot, actually did call my parents.
Oh my god.
My mom, who had to work like super long hours, had to come to school because I didn't take out my book. I refused to take out my book for like 40 minutes.
Oh god. This
Imagine.
is like the escalation. I mean, I think um I think teachers are really bad in one very specific way. So, I'm gonna riff off what happened to you, but in
Oh,
Game
oh,
of
by the way, sorry, just one last. Because I'm telling it to you, it's coming back to me. It was
Uh-huh.
such a stupid thing to happen to call my mom over for that my mom told the teacher.
Oh my.
One of her better moments, she was like, "Oh, I think you're a new teacher because like usually they don't really call me for this kind of stuff."
Nice.
Which
Ni-
he was a new teacher.
nice
I hated
digs.
it. Anyways, yes, go back to your stuff.
Yeah, like there was a point in Game of Thrones with King Joffrey where he was being advised by his grandfather Tywin Lannister, and Joffrey was stomping around saying, "I'm the king. I want to do this because I'm the king." And Tywin Lannister said, "Anyone that has to keep jumping up and down saying he's the king is not really the king." So
Mm-hmm.
I also think like there's a place for hard power, but I think teachers use it way too liberally because I think in their hearts they know that the students don't respect them. Like they cannot, you are actually like you're older and you are supposedly much more knowledgeable about a particular topic than your students, right? But even with all of that on your side, you cannot inspire any respect. So you have to keep stomping. Like, I'll write you up. I'll give you a bad grade. I'll do this. I'll do that. Like, this is no way to engage with the youth.
Exactly. Exactly. Ugh, stupid teachers. I'm so glad I'm not like everything I was supposed to learn in school, I didn't learn, and then I just Googled them after
Yeah.
school was done and I didn't have to talk to teachers anymore.
I have to say, like, when I finished, for me, it was at the end of college. So college is another ball game, but like, I remember thinking, like, at the age of 22, there were so many people like recommending, do an advanced degree. Why don't you do a PhD or whatever? And I was like, I think I would rather jump off a building. I
Exactly.
think, like, you're so right that the teachers that I've encountered like have completely killed my desire to learn, my wonder at the world, my curiosity. I was like, you know, I wanted to tune everyone out and like just make some money and be left completely alone. Someone starting with like academia or books or anything, I didn't read for like a couple of years. That's how much I completely hated it.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
so agree with you.
It's like, it's not even that they don't teach well. Like, it's not incompetence that really gets to me. It's like active destruction of the flame and the spark that
Mm-hmm.
many to some kids have. Yeah.
Exactly.
Damn, teachers. They suck.
Teachers, they do.
All right. So for me,
Oh.
Inja, my anti-hero is a
Okay,
guy.
you have to do like me. You have to do like a
Introducing. Yes,
introduction.
that's true.
Yes.
That's true. Okay. This guy is many people, certainly many educated people in the US know him. He is one of the 9 people that are most at the top of the legal hierarchy in the US. Do you know like
Ooh.
the people I might be talking about, like why 9? What
Yeah.
institution? Ooh, what institution?
Is it the Supreme Court?
Yes, it is the
Yay.
Supreme Court. So he is the guy, one of the 9. He's been there for a while.
Hey, that's so interesting. I would have never expected you to pick someone from the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I will tell you why. So, do you know Mr. Chief Justice John Roberts? Have you
Yeah.
heard of him? Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
He's not
okay.
even that controversial. Why
Oh, he's
him?
not. Oh, I will tell you in a second. So, can you like picture John Roberts? Can you like Google him if you can't picture him?
Yep,
Uh,
let's I want to see his face.
Please see, go to John Roberts images and then like look at many different angles and stuff of his face, many different instances where his photo was taken. All right.
Hmm.
So seems nice enough, right? There's nothing,
I mean, not nice enough, like normal enough, I would say.
normal
Because
enough,
there are
normalish.
lots of because I know you like the legal profession, like you were interested in it, you like the law stuff. You would even like listen to the cases. Ugh, anyways, nerd
This
stuff.
is
But like there are so many controversial judges on the Supreme Court, and this one I barely even remember.
Yes. So this is not because of how remarkable he is. You're right. Like they're more kind of polarizing figures. This man, is my anti-hero just because of the. It's almost like a human warning sign to me, saying when you're this age, when you're 60-year-old, like you better not be like him. And I specifically picked him because, like, he has all the qualities I want to avoid while still socially being perceived as a on top of a hierarchy, right? Like if I didn't show you his face, if you didn't know much about him, you would think like the guy's at the peak of his career. You know, why wouldn't you want to be like him, right? But so this is not about social perception. This is like purely my criteria for what I want to be like, at an older age. When I look at John Roberts, okay, I see a guy who, if you see in all the pictures, like he's like he has an expression of a mixture of like fear and pain, like burnt into his face to the point, like into his wrinkles, it's almost, even when he's smiling, you can tell it's like it's a painful smile almost. And
Yeah, a little
do
bit
you
of
agree?
eyelid surgery will fix that though.
Sure, but we're talking about like the stuff like the way this to me is like a traumatized child that like grew up or traumatized adults, that literally the trauma is baked into your skin at this point. It reminds me of like a dog with his tail between his legs, just like a complete, shell of a human, like shrunk, small human. He might have all the kind of social approval or titles or whatever, but really none of that matters when the person that you've become, in my opinion, is this like tail tucked between your legs, trying to not anger anyone, not frighten anyone, not polarize anyone. This, if you look at the Supreme Court, the 9 justices on the Supreme Court, what you'll notice is that there are these women, and all but especially there are 2 women, the two fat ones, so the Sonia Sotomayor and Elena
Yeah.
Kagan, and the 2 ones with the short hair, right? These women,
Yeah,
like,
because the other one is Amy Coney, A.B. Barrett Coney or something like that.
exactly, yeah. The
Yeah.
Catholic one that
Yeah.
remember our first episode, adopted a bunch of random kids. That's what she did. Okay,
She
so
did too? Oh
she
my
did, yeah.
God.
So weird in a
Lady,
different way.
you're already busy. I don't get like you already have a job, you're busy. Just leave the kids alone. Oh my
Leave,
God.
exactly, like leave the random
Anyways.
black kids from outside of the US alone. Like you don't need, yes, you don't need them, they don't need you, but and the Ketanji, or the other black woman, she's new, so I don't know much about her, but I will say, like, this Justice Roberts, and at the time previously there was another like tall, lanky, the phrase skinny fat, like they're skinny, but like there's no muscle definition. That kind of like ugly ass man called Stephen Breyer was also on the Supreme Court. And between the 3 of them, so Sotomayor, Kagan, and Breyer, these were very liberal justices. They like essentially bullied John Roberts from like imagine a wolf becoming a little I don't know, golden retriever or Dalmatian with his tail tucked between his legs, right? Like the guy fucking transformed to the point that, and he's the Chief Justice and he's supposedly equal to them, or even slightly superior on the court. But he became a shell of himself, and so afraid of, and constantly like haggled and henpecked. And I remember like thinking, whenever I look at John Roberts, like, whatever you become, don't become this. Like, don't be such a coward in a high position that like every day is a struggle to, even face your colleagues. So that's why
Okay,
he's my anti-hero.
bullied how? I don't know. How did they bully him? How do you know they bullied him? Where did this come from?
So I feel they bullied him, and you can sort of tell from a couple of like there are signs, but there's subtle signs. So I feel like I'm reading the subtle signs. So for example, the Chief Justice is a person that during oral arguments has to keep the time and has to give a chance for all his colleagues to ask their questions, like in turn. If there are more questions, then he is the one that moderates them. And like Sotomayor will like brazenly like almost command him to extend the time limit and like ask question after question and not give anyone else the chance. And like Justice Roberts is just, even though he's the one that is the referee, it's like the referee getting bullied by the player, you know? Or there are these like results of the opinions where the court will issue an opinion, and then like let's say it's always a majority opinion. So for example, 5-4, 6-3 or something. But then the people that are not agreeing with the majority decision can write their dissents. And like Sotomayor like writes these deranged dissents where her disagreement is so, you know, coming from a place of like, I want to burn this world down, that yeah, this is kind of what I personally detect. Like very
okay, what was his abortion stance?
I'm not sure. I think I'm pretty actually I think his abortion is not supporting abortion, basically letting it be overturned. Yeah.
Wait, what was his stance you said? I didn't get it. Supporting?
No, conservative stance. So pro-life. Yeah.
Interesting. Because when you said bullied, I thought like bullied into changing his opinion.
There was other times where he was bullied. I think there was one time, something around election where, or Obamacare, healthcare stuff, where like he was on the fence and then he got threats and stuff and he got it overturned. Or he joined the liberals essentially. But my thing is a lot less like specific ways that he voted or not, but more of like, you know how you get the vibe from someone? Like the vibe I get when I look at Sotomayor, Kagan, Breyer are complete zealots, like religious zealots, you know? And when I look at John Roberts, I see someone that is like the kind of person that the peasant that used to live in the valley and farm the land, seeing like hordes of barbarians coming from down the mountain and being petrified. Like that's just the energy that I get from.
Okay, I see. It's more of an energy thing because I thought it was like
more energy. Yeah.
Okay. I see.
More energy, more like this shrunk shell of a human that cannot even occupy the position of power that he has. Like you can say the peasant in that example that I gave has no meaningful way to counteract the barbarian. So maybe them freezing up is okay. But John Roberts is in the ring. He has all the degrees. He has all the titles. He has everything, right? To get in the ring and fight the likes of Sotomayor. And he is shrinking from the fight that he is capable of fighting. And that's just so pathetic to me. I never ever want to be like that.
I get that. Like, yeah, scared of the fight he can't fight. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, I see. Yep. Yeah. The Supreme Court. Does any other country have a Supreme Court? Maybe India does, right?
Oh, I think, yeah. I don't know. So the Supreme Court is kind of strange in the US because technically they can overturn everyone, but they also like get to decide which cases they take and which cases they don't. So it's not like you have a right to have your case heard in the Supreme Court. So, and by that way, they kind of influence a lot of decisions. They keep the decisions they make pretty narrow. You know, no one can say, you know, just to say an extreme case, like, hey, should I get a chance to own slaves again? Like, there's no way that the Supreme Court is going to hear that because they choose not to even hear that case.
Is the Supreme Court final? If the Supreme Court decides on something, can you sue again?
The Supreme Court is final, but oftentimes what happens is they are supposed to only interpret existing law. So if Congress, for example, makes another law that like contradicts the thing from the Supreme Court, then the Congress's law will prevail.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. So, okay, for example, the abortion thing.
Mm-hmm.
So now they,
Oh my God, the
so
biggest nothing burger, in my opinion.
exactly.
The most like
Oh,
I still don't understand, man, why Americans care so much about abortion. Like, you know, I asked our cousin who's in Germany, like, is this a Western thing? Like, was this happening in Germany all along and we never knew it, or some other country? And it's never that big of a deal. Like, what do you think?
no. Yeah. Okay. I I really don't get this. Like, are işte fetuses, are they babies? Are they humans? Do they deserve to live? Is it a religious thing? Blah
They're
blah blah.
turtles. Turtles.
They're turtles. I okay, just like one, if you can't accept the fact that you're killing the baby, don't get pregnant and get an abortion. But
Yeah.
don't try to justify it by saying it's just a clump of cells.
You are a clump of cells. Oh my God, like
Exactly.
everyone is a clump of cells, okay?
They try to justify the abortion by saying, "Oh, it's not a baby yet." Like, no, it is a baby, and you want to have it removed. Just say I want to have it removed, and let's continue the conversation. Like, let's continue the argument from there, whether you
Yeah.
should be able to do that or not. But let's not say, "Oh, it's not a baby yet. It's not a human yet." Like, girl, don't be a slut and keep the legs closed.
Yeah, the other part of this is like they talk about pregnancy as if like, you know, you could just be walking down the street and get pregnant, you know, and how will you ever deal with that unfortunate situation? It's
We
like
all know where babies come from.
exactly, and it's not a stork. Newsflash: the stork doesn't just drop it on you.
It's almost like the gay adoption thing. You know what? If you get pregnant, you have to take care of it. No, you don't get a way out.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, ties back to me not wanting people to be, getting what they want.
People should get less of what, you know, like one thing I feel have conclusively proven this past century, when like we had a chance to, and I'm not saying the past was necessarily bad, but in our recent memory, we have seen many people go from subsistence farming and stuff to essentially having the level of abundance, to the point that they can have Zoom calls with their cousins for, you know, in their leisure time. And we have seen, even like in the pandemic, for example, people were forced to be inside their homes, so they didn't have long commutes anymore, right? And I think we have conclusively proven that like what most people want is like to chill on the couch, to listen to
Yep.
random stuff. Yeah, there's no like creative juice inside people that, you know, you have to unleash and let them get what they want, because like it's so much more pro-social. Like if anything, it's
Uh-huh.
much more destructive.
Exactly. Like they abort the baby and they're like, "Oh, for my career, I'm doing this for my career." Girl, you work
Your
in a
career
bank.
of writing emails, making shitty marketing slogans, cringe
Exactly.
TV ads, that career.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just saying, people need to be honest to themselves.
I agree. I agree. And because honesty is too painful, people need to be managed by other people that can be honest, you know? Like
Yep,
certain decisions need to be taken off the table.
you need to have a friend. You need to have a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you go to this friend and you're like, "Oh, I'm pregnant. What do I do? Should I get an abortion for my career?" And the friend needs to be like, friends in the US, your friends in the US would say, "Girl boss, nothing is more important than you. You have every right to your body, blah, blah, blah." If you were my friend, I would say, one, condoms, ever heard of them? I would shame you first.
Nice.
Uh,
Yes, friends, good friends shame each other. Friends don't let other friends be unshamed, for sure.
and then I would say, what was your job again? Oh, what career
Yeah,
was that again? Oh, so then I would let you know that, there's no career worth sacrificing for. Um,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
If
like
you
it's
were
one
like
of
the CEO of whatever, Louis Vuitton,
hmm
let's talk. Let's consider what we're about to do here. But you making 40K a year, no, you're not sacrificing anything. You know, relax.
100%. Like so many quote unquote careers are I have this feeling in Jim, like it would almost be better if the productive, truly productive part of society, one of whom we stand, they're plumbers, but there are a couple more, maybe electricians, maybe farmers, maybe people that build cool stuff, make cool stuff,
Yeah.
right?
I just, plumbers are a personal favorite. They're
Yes, yes. They're at the top, but there's more, where that came from. And I feel like the truly productive people in society are maybe like 1 in 10, being very, very, very generous. Okay. And the rest are like coasting off the system. The rest are like teachers. What's the output of teachers? Like, are we more brilliant today than the people were, 200 years ago? Like, you read some stuff that like uneducated farmers wrote 200 years ago, and you realize, oh no, like we're idiots compared to them. There's a great Harvard acceptance exam in the year 1899, and it's like spanning math and Latin and like so many things just to get accepted to Harvard. And you just know if you gave them to Harvard faculty today, they couldn't pass, right? So like
Mhm.
let's not kid ourselves thinking that we're so smart or productive. So I'm like, it would almost be better if there was more honesty in society by saying these like 1 in 10 people make out checks to the other people to just like sit at home. Don't, because otherwise they're even more destructive. Like, we want teachers, ideally the people who are teachers today, we want them to sit at home and watch TV. Like, don't even teach, and
Exactly.
we'll get money deposited into your account, the same money, right? But don't bother other people. Like, don't take away from other people. We
Yep.
want
But that's a bit socialist, universal basic income.
Yeah, but I feel like right now the 90% of society that is parasitic on the productive 10%, they're not merely parasitic in the sense that they
Oh,
get their
you're saying we
resources.
we can like pay them away.
Yeah, they're like
Okay.
actively destructive. Like,
Uh-huh.
imagine the annoying HR lady. Like, she's not only
Yes.
like getting a job and getting pay, but she's like annoying the people and making them less productive around her, right? So she should be paid. We understand that she exists, and we are not advocating violence, not advocating them to be pushed off a cliff, but I do want them to just sit at home and not bother other people. Like,
Yep.
this would just be a much better environment. Like, for example, in the military, especially in the US military, like, you just know it's maybe like over 70% of it is a jobs program for useless people. Like, you look at these like fat people with t-shirts that say I served, and you're like, what exactly did you serve? Like, you cannot
You
possibly
were
have served.
served burgers and fries.
Exactly. You were served, okay? So much better if we just gave them whatever benefits the army gives people, but they don't like drag down the rest of their team.
Oh
There
my
was this
God.
great guy, Josiah something. He's talking about he
What
spent
kind of
like
name is Josiah?
Josiah. Why? It's like a biblical name, I think. You don't like
Yeah,
it?
it's too biblical. Like, okay, it's fine if you're a 30-year-old man, but it's like, imagine you're 9 and your friend is like named Josiah.
I think this is like the equivalent of in Turkey, Rabia, like
Rabia,
very
exactly. Like some heavy, heavy names. Just call him Jake. Just Jake. Jake is a good name. Yeah.
Ezekiel. Melachiel. What do you think? Hey, Melachiel, wash your hands. Yeah, it doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. I feel you.
No, it doesn't. Just, yeah. Baby names could also be another conversation topic for
let's remember that.
Oh, thank God. Thank God I have a normal name. You have a normal name. You can really suffer because of your name.
True. So there's this guy, speaking back to Josiah, he spent a couple of years in the military before he like noped out of there. But he was saying how there are these like integrated units, male, female, but like there's a whole nother conversation I think we'll have at some point about men and women. And I'm even against men and women being together in education, let alone the military, okay? But like what was happening is essentially like they're all having relations with each other. And then like because of those relations,
I mean, that's
like,
obvious, isn't it?
so obvious.
Do they expect that not to happen?
Exactly. But what happens also is like, affairs and jealousies and like, he looked at me wrongs and whatever. And then there's like a whole layer of lawyer personnel in the military that is arbitrating these, stupid like high school stuff that is happening in the professional military. And I'm just like, it would be so much better if you just took the majority of these people and sat them down, like pay the benefits, but don't let them like, meanwhile, like what the hell is happening to the ships and the guns and whatever? Like we don't want them manned by these sorts of people. So let them go. let them watch TV.
Okay, this is controversial, but you know how this would be solved?
How? She asked very hesitantly. How would it be solved?
Here's the very simple, free, easy, can be implemented today kind of solution.
Okay.
Do not let women into the military.
Ooh. Mic drop.
I don't see why Israel does this. You have to, like, in Israel, women go to the military too. Whatever. Yeah. They have to serve in the military. Why? There's like maybe 0.01% of women who are actually like cut out for military positions.
100%.
And I'm willing to sacrifice them. Just don't let women, and they can do other stuff. And I'm saying don't let women instead of men, because obviously, they're physically stronger and they're stupid, so they can die. They're expendable. Just don't let women into the military. Easy as that. Well, they can be pilots and stuff like that, but like not military personnel.
Yeah, like I feel like women are always and have always and to this day are very good at, like, if I tell you somebody is an executive assistant to a CEO, you almost know that person is a woman, right? Because women are good at like, arranging things and did this thing arrive and like throwing a party or whatever. So they might be good at like the logistical stuff, right? Because the amount of the cognitive things that go into planning, let's say a party, are almost the same as like planning that the ammunition arrives on time to a particular battlefield or something. So they can be there. But like this idea that there'll be a gunship in the middle of the ocean and like women are going to be doing what? Like, no, the women are going to be having sex with the soldiers. That's what's going to happen. So yeah, we don't need that.
And I'm not even saying it in a bad way. Like, I'm not saying this because I don't like women or whatever. I love women. I am a woman.
Yes.
In fact, it's men I don't like. And as the audience gets to know me, I think the best thing a man can do is like go off to a war and die. This is my actual real opinion. Like, as a man, unless you're like this super useful person in whatever, you should just go to war and die. Anyways,
let's not just say die, maybe like get resources from other places back to your home country, get gold and keep some of the gold.
No, the people who come back are the strong ones, right? So
I see.
I mean, some of them
like a natural filter.
Yeah, and the offsprings of the ones that came back are like stronger and so on. Yeah, I'm not saying like women should not be allowed into the military because I hate women. It's the opposite. Like there are so many better things we could be doing.
Yeah,
Women only want to be in the military because some stupid woman was like, "No, I also want to be in the military." Girl, just shh.
exactly. Like,
So many better jobs for women. So many better jobs.
and better ways to spend the time. Yeah, I fully
Exactly.
agree. I fully
It's
agree. This, I think we can like talk a lot about. This is like a very fruitful well that we should like revisit at some point. Men and
exactly.
women
Yes, yes, yes.
and
True.
careers and stuff. Yeah. All right.
The men and women conversation is like maybe 7 episodes, and we do have some great opinions, I think,
I think so
starting with
too.
men should go to war and die.
Yes. Very.
Unless they're plumbers, like plumbers should never go to war and die. Plumbers are very necessary. So if you're a plumber and there's a war, you get to stay.
Exactly. You get to even more like we should treat plumbers even better. Like they should have women, fanning them like the what do they call? Do you know yelpazelemek nedir?
Yeah, fanning, right? No?
Fanning. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Like the ancient Egyptian, like Cleopatra, if she's on the throne, she has like
Yep,
servants fanning her. That's what we want for plumbers. The
plumbers,
highest of
exactly.
society.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right,
Anyways,
perfect.
oh, Farmers Only, the dating app?
Oh yeah, I heard that.
We should
Do you
do
want
plumbers
plumbers
only.
only?
Exactly.
But we don't like women are there no who are the women then? Oh, the
Just
women
me?
that just wanna date plumbers.
No, no women. It's not women. It's a woman, and it's me.
Uh I'm not sure if like we have to go all the way to like making an app. Like they can just send you emails. The plumbers can just send you emails. How about that? Slide into our DMs. Plumbers, please. Like we have a girl in heat here. Okay, she's of the right age, and she's constantly yapping about plumbers until she marries one. So our audience, please rescue us.
Do you think do you think I'm gonna like once I get my happy ending and I marry a plumber, I'm gonna like cheat on him with an electrician or something? Because like I'm bored with plumbers now.
Oh my god. I I don't think so. I think you're I think if you
It's true
cheat, you
love.
would cheat with another plumber. Like
Oh.
you marry a regular plumber, but then the plumber that make the plumbing of a skyscraper, that's the one you cheat with. That's the
Ooh,
Chad
actually,
alpha
yes,
plumber.
true.
He can like seduce you by showing you images, oh, it was this tall and like the toilets were never clogged for 7 years, and then just like getting all hot and bothered. Yeah.
True, yes. Uh, okay, we strayed way off topic, but I loved it.
Great. So once again, we acknowledge that we stand on the shoulders of plumbers, and we
Yep.
salute Sir John Harington now and always.
Hmm. Is
Until
it possible to actually find his descendants?
I think let's look at that offline. Maybe we
Okay.
can. Maybe we can
Okay.
update the people on what's happened to the legacy of Sir John Harington next time.
Okay. Awesome. Perfect.
All right. Talk to you later, Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye.